Hey everybody, so today we're going to be going over another tool from Valaris, and this one is going to be really amazing for many of you who maybe like me don't really like to post on social media, but we know that for our businesses it is essential. And this tool is going to make that a breeze. It is going to make it so easy, and I'm really excited to show you what it can do. So let's just jump right in. So what you're seeing here is an end-to-end flow that essentially will be making an Instagram post for you with just a text. So that's what you're seeing here is this Telegram trigger. And I'm going to zoom into all these nodes. I know they might be a little bit hard to see right now or hard to read because there are, it's zoomed out so far. But I promise you that all these nodes are necessary for what we're doing. And I'm going to show you why they are and how they work. Also, we're going to be going over a short demo so that you can see what the result looks like. And I'm going to give you some general tips about how you can customize this automation to make it work exactly right for your business. All right, so to start out, I'm going to just go over the main nodes here. I'm not going to go through every single one of these because when I'm running the demo, I'll kind of give you an idea of what each thing is doing. But just to give you a general idea, here we're going to send our bot on Telegram a message, right? And we're going to say basically, I want a social media post about, anything that relates to your business, anything you want to make a post about, right? And this first agent here, he's going to be your caption generator, right? So this is the one that's going to generate the caption that's going to go under the picture that's going to be eventually posted to Instagram in this example, because that's what we're using here. Keep in mind this tool, I can adapt it for you for a couple of other social networks. I think actually for just about all of them, we can use 90% of this workflow and we just change the end output to be published on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever platform you want to use this tool for. So that's what happens. We send this a message. This bot right here will create us a nice caption. And of course, the quality of that is going to be based on the prompt that you put in here. And we'll show that a little bit later. Then we end up going here to something that is really important and I wanted to highlight in this video because I don't use it in all of my automations, but in an automation like this, I think it's super important to keep a human in the loop. And that's the term that, is used in AI when you add an automation. Essentially, the automation is called send and wait. So this node right here, I will open this one up just to show you. It says send and wait for response, right? So basically what that means is the bot, the automation will send you a message back to the original bot that you messaged from over here. And it'll actually show you the result of this node here, the original agent that created your caption, and say, hey, this is what I came up with. Do you approve? And basically, we've got a couple of paths here. So if you do approve, we move on to the next step, which will actually start creating your image. If you do not approve, it'll go into this revision agent, which I learned from another creator, is really nice to use because you can then loop it on back here if you say no. And what's nice is it's no longer, I think in the past, the human in the loop node only gave you the option to say yes or no. So, you could split the path off the same way. But what the new update does is basically it lets you not only say yes or no, but you can give it feedback. And again, I'll show you that in the example once I'm running the demo here. And it lets you basically say yes, which is the easy one, right? We just move on, or no, I want this change, and this change. And then this agent will go ahead and send it back. And because we're also connected to the same, basically thinking model here, GPT-5, it will rerun it and make the edits and then send it to you for feedback again. So for the purposes of this, let's just say everything went well. We said yes. All right. So we're moving on. So what does this agent do? Well, this is the agent that is going to start making your image. And I say start because this is not actually what is generating the image. This is generating you a prompt for the image. And what's nice is that the prompt is going to be based on the actual caption that was made by your first agent. So you see how it's all plugging together. You don't have to redo any of this. It just all kind of flows. So once this agent, thinks and comes up with a prompt based on the caption that this first agent generated, we're going to move on to generate image here. And this is what's actually making the image. And we're using ChatGPT's most recent generator here, I believe, GPT Image 1. So it's pretty high quality, and you'll see in the demo. There are other options that you can use, of course. You can plug and play. If you like other image generators, it should work fine as well. Then we just split the data out here, just a small cleanup step. We convert it to binary. Again, not going to go into the weeds here, but this is really important because a couple of these other nodes, prefer the information in binary. It just makes it really easy, so you don't have to, um, download and re-upload any kind of file. Converting to binary just basically means we're converting the image to a string of numbers, and the computer, it's basically a computer language. It recognizes those numbers, and it recognizes, okay, these numbers equal this image, which is obviously very important for the rest of our automation here. Now you'll see a couple of different paths here, and it looks like it gets a little bit complicated, but I'll go ahead and explain it. So the reason this is connected here is because of this merge node. And the merge node is really important because in this final semi-final node here, we want to upload the media to the platform that we're using to then upload it to Instagram. Sounds complicated, I know, but just trust me, it works. And you really need to have this merge here because that's how the automation is going to be able to get the binary from here, but also be able to get the result from down here, which we'll get into in just a moment. Great. So now that you know what the merge node is, what's going to happen here first is that the path is going to go down this way, right? And we have another human in the loop automation, which again, super important because, even though marketing is not my department, it's my partner Tong's, and she's amazing at this. I have the benefit of talking to her and, asking, okay, what are the holdups in the marketing process, right? What do strong marketing teams want out of an automation? And one of the biggest things is that, as good as AI is, it's not always going to generate a perfect result on the first try, even on the second try sometimes. So it's really important to keep this human in the loop interaction so that before anything ever gets posted to social media, you can actually have a look at it. And now with this, I believe it isn't a recent update that you can give feedback to the actual bot when it's asking you, yes or no. You can basically have your chief editor or even yourself just, give it a quick, 2 sentence feedback, and you're going to get some good results. So anyway, this is going to go ahead and send out for approval here. We have it in 2 steps here because the image has to be sent first, and then the send and wait node has to trigger. And that was painfully learned by me when I was making this because I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working, why it wasn't sending me the image. It was, producing a bunch of errors. And so, good learning opportunity. I realized that I just had to split it up. Very big duh moment. I mean, it was late at night, so I was in the zone and I just didn't think, okay, well, maybe if I just split the picture to send first and then the send and wait automation second, it'll fix everything. And it did. So, anyway, this one is just like this node over here. So request feedback. This is another request feedback. This is going to ask us, hey, is this picture good to go now, right? And then, of course, here, you'll recognize the same kind of flow here. It's the classifier. So if yes, we're going to move on to the final step here. If no, we're going to revise, send it on back to the agent, reprompt, because that's the difference here. In this one, we're actually going to have the agent remake the prompt because then we have to generate a new image. So in order to generate the new image, we need a whole new prompt, right? And so what this revision agent is going to do is it's going to tell the original agent that made the prompt, hey, I want this changed in the prompt for the picture, which will then result in a different picture, right? And then, of course, let's say goes back through the same steps. We approve it this time, we move on, right? So we're back to this merge area. And I mentioned it was important because this merge is going to be sending the binary data from this node to the upload node over here by Blotato. And I'll go over what that software is in a moment. And then it's also going to be receiving the yes, it's approved from the text classifier here because we're saying yes, it is good to go. So it's going to be getting sent into here. So once it's in here, so this software is a third-party software, and we're not being paid to endorse them or anything. We just find that it is really easy to use. It does have a cost, so you can use it. There's like a free trial, but if you want to use the API features, there is a monthly cost. Full disclosure. You can do this in other ways, and there are other software. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to use this one because it is really easy to use, and I want you to get up and running as quickly as you can. If you want to explore different options later, you sure can. So anyway, what's happening here? So here we're going to actually open this one up to show you. It's a really simple one. We're just going to be inputting data, right? And what you would see here if the automation had ran is the binary basically turned into an actual photo of the image we generated. And that's why this input binary field is here. So basically, this is now turning our bunch of numbers into a real image, which then we can actually post to Instagram. And this is the payoff, right? This is the final step. This is going to be connected directly to our Instagram and be posted. And a small moment here to highlight the reason I'm using this software is because big software like Instagram and Meta, Facebook, make it kind of difficult to auto post to their platforms. And I get why they do it. They don't want people just spamming. But there's just so many steps that you have to do to access the API and make a developer account. And I went down that route. I know how to do it, but it's a bit of a pain. Eventually, it's nice because technically it is cheaper because you don't have to use a third-party software to post to these platforms. But it's a topic for another day. So anyway, really easy. This will post to your Instagram, and then you'll see one more node here. This says add to social media log. What this is going to do basically is we're going to have a sheet in our Google Drive here that's going to keep a log of all the social media that we have produced. And I have no idea why it's so slow right now. It might be my internet. Give me 1 second here. Not sure what that delay was, but anyway, we've got our sheet up here. So it's got some sample data, as you can see. So it's just really simple: date, the topic, which is basically what your input originally was, the caption, and then here is the link from Blotato, which actually shows you the image that was generated. So it's a really good way for your marketing team, or if you're leading the marketing effort in your company, to keep track of what's been posted, and maybe you can add another column here to track what's doing well. As I mentioned in many of my videos, data is king. So the more data you have, the better. It costs basically nothing to maintain it. If you never look at it, great. But when you need it, it's there. So really nice to have, and doesn't cost you anything extra to run the same result into this spreadsheet here. Now, before I go on to the demo, you're going to see this optional area here, and you're going to see an extra node. Now, these are not connected, and I don't know if I'm going to leave these on here for the JSON file when I give it to you guys to download because it might confuse some people. But if you don't need them, you can just delete them, right? You highlight and you hit backspace, and they're gone. So no big deal. But basically, what I was trying to build here, and I still, I believe, need to perfect, is when this agent is creating a picture, one thing that I really wanted it to do was to look at other pictures that we had previously generated and draw inspiration from those. And so what this would do is basically search our drive. So we would essentially make a folder with our favorite pictures that were generated before. This would then, I believe this one extracts 30 of them, or the total amount that I tell it to. And then this one helps us pick a random one from those so that so it doesn't overload the system, basically, is what I'm learning. Basically, you're going to want to, put your 30 best in there. And then this, I think it's one, you might be able to pull more than that. But it's custom code that, full disclosure, ChatGPT helped me build. I am not a, super proficient coder. But basically, the purpose of this is so that this agent can create you quality material based on your previous material. Now, the reason I didn't end up including it or spending any more time on it is because I realized an easy workaround to this, yeah, maybe my partner Tom can get into more because she's, the expert in the social media and image generation field, is that really you can do something called kind of like reverse prompt engineering. So instead of trying to have this agent in real time access other pictures to get inspiration, what you can do is develop this prompt in here, from actually other pictures that you've done before. So you would go and you would upload those into ChatGPT, into a new chat, and then say, hey, please review these based on these images. Can you please create me a prompt for an N8N agent that will be generating images for my social media? So super easy workaround, guys. You can just reverse engineer. Even, I mean, be ethical about this, but if you see other images from other companies that you really like, if it's public, it's public. You can go in there, copy those images, put them in Chat GPT, and tell it, hey, I really like how these pictures, these social media posts look. Can you draft me a prompt that would create this kind of image? And it's really good at it. So anyway, that's why I didn't include it. It's here again. If you're a proficient coder, you can probably get this working. And if you wanted to reference new pictures every time or reference custom pictures, depending on the type of post, that might be really useful to you. This other one here is an HTTP request. It's a generic call. So basically, we're going to be calling to this software called Placid. Placid is helping me solve an issue that AI has where AI sometimes has trouble including your logo or static information into pictures that you generate. And so, what that software actually does is it lets you create a template, kind of like Canva, if you ever use Canva, and it will basically let you um, overlay that template on the image that was generated. So if you picture, you've created an image and you always want the logo to be on the bottom right hand side or something, that software should, in theory, overlay that logo on the bottom right hand side of any image that you generate if you just include it in the workflow before it's published. So something like this, right? But again, it's something I'm still kind of working with, and I can't recommend it yet because I haven't perfected it myself. So I want to be very transparent in all these videos. I never recommend something unless I have actually tried it and it's worked well enough to recommend. So, but I like to teach you guys some extra things that maybe you can perfect yourself, and that is one of them. So that could resolve the issue with poor logo generation. So I know this is one of our longer videos, so thanks for sticking with us so far. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the demo in just a moment here. All right, so let's just jump right in. So we've got Telegram pulled up here, and this is our Telegram social media publisher bot. You can make a Telegram bot super easy. We have a couple other videos going over how to do that. Really should take you about 2 to 3 minutes. It's a really easy way to prompt your bots, and you should probably, learn that just so you can implement it in all your other automations. So for the purposes of this one, we're gonna say it's already made, it's already good to go. You can see here we've already used it several times and it's given us some responses, and we're going to kind of show you how it works here today. So the automation is in inactive mode. That's because I have it in test mode right now. I want to open up some of the nodes to show you guys as it's progressing. So we're not going to turn it on right now. Obviously, if it was on when we send a message here, it would automatically trigger. So it's going to be almost the same thing right now, except I'm just going to go ahead and manually go ahead and say execute this workflow. And what that's going to do is it's going to be waiting for a trigger event, which means it's waiting for us to send it a message in Telegram. So that's exactly what we'll do. We'll go ahead and, say we're going to prompt an image for Instagram, right? So I want an Instagram post talking about how Polaris can help its clients scale their small business with a diverse range. I'm awful at typing, sorry guys. range of AI tools. And that's it. I mean, you can get as fancy or as simple as you want with it. Let's just go with this and see what happens, right? We're going to go ahead and send that message. So as you can see here, the workflow is now running because this has received a message. Again, if it was live, the only thing that gets skipped is we don't ever have to press this button. It just happens. So this, whenever you pull up your Telegram bot and you send a message, it's going to start the automation. So what's happening here, right? The Instagram post agent has already actually used ChatGPT 5 to come up with a good caption for what our idea was. And as you can see here, super fast, we're already on the send and wait node, which is right here. So the bot has requested feedback from us. It's showing us what the caption looks like, and it is asking, hey, are we good to go? So to show you guys an example, we're gonna say no, right? So we're gonna say I don't like it. How about less text and more impact? So super broad feedback, of course, for this example, but you can even say, I want to change the hashtags to this, this, and this. And again, what really matters here is how you have this particular node program, right? So the instructions that you put in here are super unique to your company. So we're going to leave a sample prompt in there for you so you can, test the automation. But obviously, it's going to create posts and images related to our company because that's the sample that's in there. So you're going to want to edit that. And again, that's so easy to do. You can just, you know, copy our homework. You can go into ChatGPT, post our prompt, say, this is my company, modify this prompt to fit my company image instead, and it'll do it. So super nice. So at this point, the automation is running again, and I think we're going to be getting another message here soon on Telegram asking us for approval again, right? Because this has already gone to this area, and it's going to be coming back to request for feedback. My mistake, guys. And this is to show you that I am not by any means perfect with this. I totally forgot about something, and you might do this too. So we're going to leave this in here. I'm not going to edit this out. So the reason nothing is happening right now, like I thought it was, is because this is very important here. So we don't actually respond to this bot through a normal message like this. It could be really easy to miss, but there is a respond button here. So the way that we actually respond is through that button. So we're going to just copy this because it's, the response isn't going to change. We're going to actually hit respond here. And what it does is it opens up an external link. And of course, Telegram is on your phone, so you do this from your phone. So you don't need to be on a computer for it. So, it's not even an inconvenience. It's just I forgot to click the button. So instead of texting it, you're going to do this. See, now it's running again. So everything I mentioned earlier is happening now. It wasn't happening earlier. But yeah, basically in Telegram, you have to hit the respond button, submit your feedback that way, and here we go again. So now we've already got the feedback asking us for feedback again. All right, cool. So you saw like that took literally probably 30 seconds. So it's already come up with a new caption. And let's just say this is good to go now. So we're going to approve it, right? So we're actually going to do the right thing this time. We go to respond. So we're going to respond, open this back up and say yes. And something that, is in the text classifier, it's been taught to recognize things like yeah or, adjacent things to yes. I mean, honestly, keep it simple and just say yes if it's good. It's never going to misinterpret that. But, if you want to reply yeah or cool, it looks good, or sure, it'll probably recognize that it is really smart, so it's not going to mess it up. What's really important is that you give it proper feedback when it's a no. But anyway, so here we go. It's showing you just secondary look at it. That's the caption that's going to go on the Instagram post. So we're going to say yes, got it. So all right, cool. So now it's progressing to stage two. So now we are at the agent that goes ahead and is generating the prompt for us, right? So as I showed you earlier, we've got some prompts in here, system message, based on our company image, and that's really important because even though it could come up with a prompt just based on the caption that this other one generated, if it has background about your company, your branding, your colors, all that should be included in the system message. It's going to come up with a way better prompt, right? As you can see here, it's already outputted. So this is our prompt generated by this agent using ChatGPT 5 Mini. Small note, you can use Mini for this. Honestly, it's not going to be a huge difference if you use ChatGPT 5 versus Mini, and it's going to save you a bunch of money, especially if you're generating a lot of images. It's much cheaper to use the mini models than the full blown ones, especially for something like this where it's creating a prompt that's not necessarily doing any kind of like deep research or anything like that. But you can try both. If you're not really happy with the prompts it's generating, you can switch over to ChatGPT 5, the full thing, and see if it gives you some better results. So while I was talking there, everything else has been done. So what happened here? So we generated the image. So as you can see, it took the output from the previous agent, which created a prompt, and now we have this really weird looking block of text. So this is just B64 JSON. Now, the important thing to remember here is that most of these nodes and most programs in general don't really recognize that. Like they can't just generate an image based off that. So what we did here, we just split that information out with the split out node, and then we threw it into convert to binary. So this node is, looks like magic, right? You basically put in this string of like who knows what, and it outputs your actual image. So moment of truth here, let's see what it cooked up. So we can actually view it already. Cool. Simple. It's got some text in there as it was prompted to do. The text inside is different from the caption, obviously. So this is not the caption that was generated. You'll see in the final product that it is an actual caption that gets posted underneath the photo, just like if you were making it yourself on Instagram. This is just it's been prompted to create headlines on the actual image in the image generator. So cool. That is going to be our image. So um, typically when you're running this automation, I mean, you're not going to see that in here because you're not checking N, but here we go. So now that all these steps have been completed, we've received a new message on Telegram. So we're going to move it over here now so you can see the rest of the automation in here, right? So in Telegram, this is what I was telling you earlier. This node sent us the image. Its only job was to send us the image, right? And then this one is the one actually asking us for feedback saying, hey, is this good to go? So, like I said, you don't have to be looking at N8N. You're going to receive this in your Telegram bot as a message. It's going to say, hey, I cooked up the image for you. What do you think? Is it good to go? Again, we're going to go in here and just respond. And so again in here, if we're not happy with it, we can respond to make edits to that image, which is amazing because it'll go back through and generate a new image based on those changes. But to save you some time here, we're going to go ahead and just say, yes, it's good to go. And just to show you, it'll still understand that. We're just going to submit here and say, hey, the image is good, right? So we're going to submit here, says got it, thanks. And you can see here, it's gone green. We've gone up into merge, and this has all happened instantly. So what happened here? We received the binary, which was a photo file, into here. We've received approval that the user is happy with the image. And then Blotato, which is our posting tool, basically has uploaded it and created basically a link for this image, which is the missing piece that Instagram needs to actually post the photo. Again, in here you can see, the image, we've already seen it. In here, post to IG, this is connected. And of course, you're going to want to make sure that your API is connected in Blotato. So it's really easy to do. I'll show you guys that in just a moment. But basically, once that's connected, you just select it from here, and everything else here is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to post. You're going to create a post, and then these functions here. If you're using this tool from us, you don't need to change anything. They are programmed, but if you want to know why they're there, how to customize them, basically they are dynamic fields from here. So this set post item JSON, this is basically asking us, well, what's the text going to be for the post, right? And if you remember, we cooked that up a while ago. So that's from the IG post agent. But instead of taking the output from here, we're going to take the cleaned up text from set post because remember, we revised it, right? So you want to make sure it's this one. So this basically is what's dragged in here. Super easy. It's just dragging there. And that's what's making it generate the text that we came up with earlier on Instagram, which I'll show you guys in just a moment, the final result. And then the media is that link that I just showed you guys that was created from the binary. So again, that's just being dragged in here from here. That's all that is, right? So it looks complicated, looks like a lot of code. JSON is not really code, as you'll learn in these videos. Once you're comfortable, familiar with it, you're gonna feel a lot better. So that's that. Let me show you guys really quick what I'm talking about with Blotato, just so you know how easy it is to connect your API. So basically in here, guys, again, we're not being paid by them or anything. It's just super easy to set up. So this is a software I'm going to recommend. You literally go in here to my.blotato.com/settings after you've made an account, of course. And you're literally going to just click log in. So you can see here, you can post to all of these using a node like the one I'm showing you in Instagram to post to other platforms. So as you can see here, we're connected with the Instagram account, and we can disconnect it, if you want to disconnect for any reason or anything like that. And this is where like you're going to get your API key as well for the automation. Anyway, I'll put that in the written documents. So I'm not going to waste your time with that here. Just wanted to show you how incredibly easy it is to connect rather than, making a whole developer account and doing a bunch of stuff to, have your automations post to social media for you. So, moment we've all been waiting for, let's go to Instagram and check if it actually posted. We're just going to hit refresh here. And here we are. So there it is. It's been posted. It's ready to go. You can see that the caption is exactly what, the AI created for us earlier. The image is exactly what we approved, and it is there. It's ready to go. So, you can do this as many times as you want. The cost is not really that high for generating images or prompting. What will add up is, the subscription to Blotato is, I believe, about $25 a month. So, there are discount codes and everything that you can use. So full disclosure, there is a cost for that, but I mean, think about how much money and time that saves you. Imagine like not having to actually have a team behind this. You just, your team is more specialized now. Your team is not thinking about, oh my God, what caption should I make today? They're thinking about how do I perfect this caption? How do I make this image better? What does my customer want to see? So you're taking them from a place of, you know, boring work, maybe, they're tired of doing that now. Instead, they're going to be able to use this tool and just like perfect what comes out. And the whole process of it getting posted is just completely automated. So, yeah, that is this automation. That's why I was really excited to show you guys. This can literally take your social media posting from hours to, I mean, a couple minutes. This demo was longer because I was showing you guys how everything worked, but in reality, all that you or your team are going to see is that Telegram message, and then just basically your agent saying, "Hey, do you approve?" And that's it. Then it pops up on your Instagram, and you're all set. So hope this is helpful for you all. I really enjoyed and honestly stressed making this one because it was a huge learning process, even for myself, to include these human in the loop interactions that I think even if I hadn't built them now, they would be highly requested in the future. So I'm glad that we got them in here now. And this should give you some more confidence using AI for tasks like this because you have the final approval on this. You're not just trusting AI blindly to post on your behalf, right? You have final editorial power here. And I think that's really important for any AI that you're working with. So that's all I got today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you on the next video. Take care until then.